You are listening to an original message from the reader currently known as Jason Ashanti McDaniel of Madam Jason's Tarot. Hi everybody. So I'm going to do a quick 15-minute all signs reading. And usually I try to get like 4 cards out and then put the extra ones on the bottom row, but I might have to do more than just tarot for this. So I'm doing a new thing. It's called Flip Don't Trip, and these readings are pretty much designed for people who are chronically online, who like energy checks, but they don't want to overdo it by watching a lot of tarot, but they still want to make sure that they're in the right direction, or they want to check their intuition for something. And then I mentioned before how I'm trying to make my videos 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes, because those are the time slots for the personals, and they're correspondent with the prices that they are too, without Reiki or any other services. So if you look on my channel, some of the videos have been shorter than the time brackets, but don't worry about that too much, because I think if there was another person on the other side of the table, we would get to the time bracket easier. But sometimes I want to do 60 minutes, but I've already made the point and I don't see anything else that I could add to the video, so I leave it at like 48 or something like that. And also, with some of the videos, I have been able to like slow them down or speed them up a little bit, but I can't do that with every video, because when you slow it down too much, it kind of sounds demonic. So of course that's something that I don't want to post. But this is like an energy check for all zodiac signs watching, whatever they need to know right now. Okay, we got 5, so I'll just leave it at that for the tarot. So 9 of Pentacles in the reverse at the bottom of the deck, that could represent, well, in a romantic sense, I see it as someone being on the market again, like not being single, or off the market, not being single anymore. It could also represent someone being privileged or bougie or snooty, or a lot of superficial things in life, depending on what the subject matter is. But we have 2 of Wands upright. We have the Moon card upright. And then we have 9 of Swords and 3 of Cups in the reverse coming out together. And then we also have 9 of Wands reverse. So those last 3 that came out are definitely talking about someone relieving themselves, I feel like, from a group of people or from karmic friendships. But for zodiac signs right now, what we have is Aries, Pisces, Gemini, Cancer, Sagittarius, and Virgo. So the 2 of Wands upright, it's usually should I stay or should I go mentality. There's like a conflict between, do you want to stay where you're at or do you want to venture out and expand? And that could be a concept that works in a lot of different scenarios. This is an Aries card. And then the Moon makes sense coming out after that, because the Moon usually talks about fear, anxiety, what you don't see, hidden things, the subconscious. So someone's faced with an ultimatum and they're not sure what they should do about it, because there's a lot of confusion or a lot of obscurity surrounding the matter. And then 9 of Swords reverse usually represents a person letting go of anxiety, so that's good, especially something that's been keeping them up at night. And then 3 of Cups is seen as like a friendship card. It can represent teamwork, festivities. It's really happy energy, but when it's in the reverse, a lot of time people say it represents gossip or a group of people or a coven or something like that. So yeah, it seems like this has something to do with walking away from a group, maybe because there's a reason for everything. I'm wearing my authentic pajamas right now. Maybe you're walking away from a group because there's something about the way how they operate that you don't agree with. But maybe the choice that you had to make was between like doing what's popular or doing what's seen as socially acceptable versus, you know, doing what you want to do, because there's something about your mindset being more elevated than whoever these people are. This could be family too for some of you. And then 9 of Wands usually represents like a cycle that's beating someone up or that they're getting tired of. So being that it's in the reverse, this means that someone is tired of repeating a cycle. So I think what I'm going to do now is astro alignment. I should probably use Angels and Ancestors too at some point, because that is my favorite deck to use for advice. And being that this person is holding a globe in the 2 of Wands, I almost called it the World card. Being that this person is holding the globe in the Two of Wands, something about moving out or traveling the world you've been unsure about. It could be because the moon is here. You have been wanting to travel to a place that in the news is seen as not being a good place to travel right now. Because I know there's a lot of wars and rumors of wars, but also a lot of like tension between different countries. A lot of xenophobia is fueling that. And it's like they had the plans, they might have had the opportunity to travel somewhere that they wanted to travel for a long time, but even like the entire world is getting stricter with their customs and border stuff, not just the United States too. So I'm picking that up for someone. I might do emoji oracle or charm casting because I want to see if the airplane comes out. Okay, so we have Psyche showing here, so there's definitely like a mental struggle that a lot of people are struggling with. We have cusp, transition, liminality, twilight. So cusp energy really talks about like transition to me. For example, we're in Gemini season and we're on the verge of Cancer season, and I'm a Cancer, so that's like the analogy that I would have used anyway. But there's something about like the energy around you changing because of the different zodiac transitions for the seasons going on. We have ascendant, appearance, first impression, mask. Yeah, with the Two of Wands, I'm picking up something about someone or like people not being what they seem, but also you feeling like you had to mask to be around a group of people. And like I said, this could be family, this could be like toxic friend groups, because I've been channeling a lot of shows and movies recently, and what I'm channeling now is like Katie Heron and Mean Girls. And that's something that I've gone through consistently throughout my life. Being around groups of girls that wanted me, especially like if I moved and I was the new person, groups of women that always wanted me to hang around them, but they were like mean, messy type women. And speaking of that, I feel like something about this has to do with your square: competition, tension, disharmony. I'm going to use myself for an example too, so I can explain to people who don't know about it. So I'm a Cancer, and in my square, there's also Capricorn, Aries, and Libra. Now, I do zodiacs and I'm a tarot reader. I love all zodiac signs, but I have noticed in my life that the main people who I don't get along with are people who are in my square. And also, I'm a Cancer, but I have hella Libra in my chart. I have double Capricorn, and I have my Saturn placement is Aries. So Aries is a very different energy than Cancer. Not saying that all Aries are bad, all Cancers are good, but it's like Cancer is very sweet, docile, light energy, and Aries is kind of known for being very aggressive. So that's a difficult placement to deal with, a difficult zodiac sign to have in your chart in general. But me, for example, I have Aries in my square, and I also have Aries and Saturn. So I feel like decoding that, what that means is that is an explanation for why I've always been around aggressive people, because your Saturn is a planet that talks about like lessons that you have to learn, especially when it comes to money and romance for me, or things that have to do with your reputation, because Saturn is Capricorn's ruler. Capricorn rules 10th house in astrology, which has to do about reputation. So there is something about ultimately people expecting you to act a certain way, but you don't want to be that way. And then we have Imam, Koali, Nadir, origins, inner child. This is definitely family for someone. Maybe with the spirit of Aries and the Two of Wands, there's something that you've been wanting to get back to, or something that you like to do that is healing for your inner child, but people diss it, especially because you're an adult, because I only do videos for adults. Lunar eclipse, culmination, release, illumination. So on a positive note, the moon can represent culmination and illumination. So I feel like what that's saying is you're releasing things that no longer serve you, but also you're gaining clarity about what you do want to do with your life. Okay, so I'm going to use angels and ancestors. We're at 11 minutes right now, and then I'm going to try to end the video possibly with charm casting. So this video is pretty much for people who have been second guessing themselves about whether they should live a life that people expect them to do, or if it's really safe for them to live in their authentic self. Okay, arrow, surround yourself with protective energy. Yeah, oftentimes the Three of Cups reverse could represent people who are always in your face, but they're not really your friends like that. They just try to come off like they're your friends. Medicine Mother, honor your inner knowing. So this is like so this isn't the Priestess card from this deck, but it's kind of like similar. It's talking about trusting your own intuition. And being that this says Medicine Mother, and I'm picking up something about family influencing you or telling you how to live your life. Some of you have mother wounds, and that doesn't mean that you don't love your mother or you don't have a good relationship with her, but there's something about like her lineage and the things that she's gone through in her life that you are meant to transcend. But your mother's zodiac sign could also be in the square of your zodiac sign. Some of you, unfortunately, because we have Protect Yourself and Medicine Mother, you have a mother that's abusive, and I'm sorry if that's your reality. So I just rebought this deck. That's why the cards are so straight, but it is kind of hard to shuffle. But I think something's going to pop up. I give myself grace when I make mistakes and veer off my divine path. There could be a group of people, your family could be very critical of you when you don't do things right. God and the universe, hear my prayers. I definitely feel like someone's trying to find an escape route. We didn't see Eight of Swords, but it's definitely giving like Eight of Swords, like you feel like you're in a mental prison kind of energy. And also because we have the arrow, which is typically Native American to me, and then Medicine Mother. This might resonate with someone who's BIPOC, definitely. Especially when it comes to Black and Hispanic people, because that's the energy that I'm feeling. Like, we have a lot of ancestral wounds, and a lot of us are here to kind of make that right or to transcend that. Okay, so we have the silver platter here. Something that you want to do is probably going to lead your lineage into abundance. So you could be the generational curse breaker of your family. We have Sagittarius, and it says optimist on the back. We have Taurus, and it says trustworthy on the back. I was feeling Taurus energy. Gemini, and it says intelligent on the back. These could all be things that you have in your chart too, by the way, or could be anybody's energy that came up in the reading. Pisces, and it says intuitive on the back. We have the heart chakra healing charm. We also have the piece of binder paper. So some of you are probably trying to get yourself out of generational cycles by pursuing your education, or maybe you're studying up on something. You could just be a person that likes to read or likes to research things and just learn. So we do have the Phoenix rising from the ashes and the butterfly charm. So there's transformation here, growth. Okay, so the lips charm could mean a lot of things, but I don't really see romantic energy here. One of the things that this represents is gossip. So protect yourself from people who you feel like are two-faced. And also you are protected from gossip too. I mean, people are going to say whatever they want to say, but it's not going to affect you. We have the dragon here, which could represent facing your fears. Somebody's trying to get out of a situation. They're trying to get away from something. And then we also have the guardian angel charm here too. So that is a synchronicity with protection. Was going to end the video, but I just heard something about Metatron, because Metatron, there's something about someone traveling, and Metatron is the angel that likes to be in nature. So this guardian angel could be Metatron, because I wasn't really feeling like it was a passed on ancestor. But that's all that I have for you guys right now. I'm getting ready to redo Scorpio's 30 and 60 minute, because the energy last night just was not right. So I'm just going to redo it. But if you like the way how I do tarot, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media platforms, and I will see you guys in the next one.